entire metaverse lives only one way. Entire metaverse lives only one way. Global warming have the place the bake. Tsunami and earthquake. Then they leave land they try to escape. Ye of little faith, we don't know we're real or we're fake. You have to watch the food you they put on your plate. In the lab manufacturing steak, could I never flow through the general gate. Glorify his name, me begging. Glorify his name, me begging. Breaking news. Members say newsy news. Designed by the shit stem to keep your man fused and previews. Propaganda, fake news, distort your views. Have grown people to compromise their values. Know what? Breaking news. News breaking. The whole of Belize is talking. Breaking news. News breaking, poor people just keep on suffering. Breaking news, news breaking. Mama, please stop crying. Breaking news, news breaking. Scratching me head, contemplating. I am very elated that they find Kelvin, even though we don't get the full overstanding yet. What about the rest of people them missing? Families still in a mourning. Psychological desensitizing. So when the real hit the fan, it won't be alarming. Breaking news is distracting. They want me keep forgetting about McAfee and the shit eating. Mason, Pastor Lou beheading. All the gun smuggling. The delivery man, them killing. Passport duplicating. All the people under them keep on thieving. We need a solution for the gang banging, but no the threat. Breaking news, investigating. Breaking news, news breaking. The whole of Belize is talking. Breaking news, news breaking. Poor people just keep on suffering. Breaking news, news breaking. Mama, please stop crying. Breaking news.
Good evening. Welcome to our weekly podcast, 4 years going. In April, we'll be 4 years on the air. We want to thank you for joining us whenever you do, or when you catch us on the replay. Many people wait and then log on later on where you can watch the whole show. We appreciate your viewership. We ask you to subscribe, uh, like us, let us know that you're listening. If you have any comments, please share. I've been trying to get this background off of me because it's not working too well. I'm not well versed in this, and I'm gonna have to pull in an expert advice at some point. Anyway, we're here every Thursday evening, 7 Belize time. I believe that's 8 New York time and 6 Los Angeles time, or is that the other way around? 9 New York and 6, 5. Anyway, you figure it out. I'm not I'm gonna have to work that out. Every time I work it out, I have it on the tip of my tongue and forget it. Welcome to the world of teenagers. Folks, and we have no sacred cows on this show, no scapegoats, no agendas of any kind, be it political, personal, no agendas whatsoever. We deal with the issues frontal, right up front, no pulling punches, none of that. We don't try to embarrass people or ambush anybody with any trick questions. We keep it real. We are usually a four-man panel. I am the chairman pro temp. They've tried to vote me out a couple of times, but they need 4 votes, and there's only 3 of them against me, so they can't get it. We have J.A. Spooner's private citizen Spooner, as he likes to refer to himself. We have Gregory Morrison from Los Angeles, and of course the very versed and experienced Joe Jose Cowie. Spooner, not a new cup tonight. We're going on that. This I want
No.
showcase a cup every month.
The diesel juice one that my son bought for me.
Okay. How about the Trump cup? You still use that? Make
The
America
MAGA
great.
one, yeah, I got the MAGA one, but it's dirty, so never use it.
It's always dirty, isn't it?
Bring that out when after you don't whop Iran and bring it out. Then you go in Cuba.
That was made. I believe that. Don't you think that's the plan? No. What do you think about that?
Of course it is. They have a plan. Yeah, they're making America great again. You know what they're doing. What's the point of having all that power and not using it?
I hope that's tongue in cheek and that you're not being serious about that. Because we never know with you, guy.
Never know with me. That's how I like it.
Yeah. But that Iran thing, I think they were hornet's nest, man.
I think they will come out successful.
But what do you call successful? Because you know that all down the line, they refer to them as terrorists. They refer to themselves as freedom fighters. But these people have cells all over the world. They're not afraid to die, Jeremy. I think that's the difference between those two armies.
Well, it's those 72 virgins that you're promised when you
get to heaven. Once you believe it, then I guess it's real, no? Yeah. So
I saw a joke. They showed you the Ayatollah, and he get to heaven, and it wasn't 72 virgin, it was 72 transgender guys that are women, no? So anyway, I thought that was funny, but obviously,
I didn't think that was funny, but I'm laughing at you, but that's good.
Well, to me, I find religion. I don't want to step on nobody's toe, but I've got my views about religion and so on, and just like you laugh at the Bible written by Jews, apparently God's word, God came down to Abraham and told him about what, that they're the chosen people and so on. I mean, if you want to believe all of that, and then if you want to believe in the Immaculate Conception and all of that, I believe there was a guy called Jesus. Got no problem with that. It's a great story, and it binds people. It has some great mission statements, on the commandments. I think that's great. It imparts integrity, honesty, things like that. I think which we all need in society,
Well, it was the greatest story ever told.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing, though. Growing up in Belize, whenever somebody told a lie, we would say, you tell story. You tell story. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, I know Kriol very well.
So if that's the greatest story ever told,
Yeah.
then that must be the greatest lie ever told.
Yeah.
I see immaculate conception whenever I look at the horizon of a still sea
Yeah.
and see the sun
Yeah.
rises
Yeah.
rising out of the sun, which we know the sun doesn't rise, that the earth actually rolls around. And
Exactly.
breathe,
The
at
sun
least the
stays in
sun,
one place, doesn't it? It stays in
right.
one place. Yeah.
And we go around and around, and we actually go nowhere, right? So we just go the same path forever and ever. Every time you go around, you conquer one more year. I'm 1 year, I'm 2 years, I'm 3 years.
Yeah.
You've been around the sun 72 years. I've
Yeah.
been 48. So we look at it like that, and we realize what is it all about? Where are we really going? And what's the fight about to see who's going to rule this one little globe upon which we live that rolls around and around like a ball, hanging on nothing and just going around? And considering all of that, then you're going to tell me that you don't believe in a creator, which is all right.
You know,
Um, I,
40,000 years ago, we all left Africa. I don't know why. I don't know what the Africans kicked us out. What did they do to us? But we all left Africa.
No.
And
You
we
know
went.
what they did. You know what they did to some of us. The slaves were brought out in chains against
No,
their
no. I'm
will.
not I'm talking way. I said
Or before that.
40,000 years ago.
Uh, uh, uh,
40,000 years ago, when we all migrated out of Africa.
uh-huh.
What did we do so bad that we left Africa and we gone all around the
I
world?
I'm surprised you'd ask a question like that, given the things that we're doing today. What do you think we did back then? You know what's funny? At first, there were 4 people on the earth, and one killed one of the other 3. Now you talk about a high murder rate.
Yeah.
Gregory is
But
in the
you wonder if
house.
your wife come up to you and say, G Mike boy, I'm pregnant, but the God, the Immaculate Conception, you would have believe her?
Why? I don't have to.
You don't have to, no true?
Yeah. Bill Cosby said wives don't lie.
The wife, well, no, women never lie. They never lie.
No,
They're not cheat on you.
You guys gonna get in trouble.
I'm just listening, Greg, waiting for you to
Well,
come
you know
in.
something, Greg? There's a story in Belize right now about a female constable that was abused 2 years ago at the police station. This guy whopped her a few times. It's on video, and she can't get justice up to today. And she was on Channel 7 about it. And I'm wondering, where are all these women libbers? Where are all these women human rights activists? Why are they not saying something?
Ho. You whap her with what?
With the hand, he grab her around her waist and her neck and so
Well,
on.
you know what though? I was having this conversation with a prominent fellow today, and he was saying that when women in the department have a tricky thing, because not all women can handle the task of being a police officer. And again, we might get in trouble for this, but there are certain women police officers that think he wouldn't have tried that with. There's a girl, Christine. I don't know what a Christine last name, but he not may try that with she may went slam and down so hard, may funny. Because this girl are rough and tumble. But there are some petite, some just helpless almost women that are in uniform, but they cannot withstand the aggressiveness of those criminals out there. But how could that go 2 years without being addressed though?
Adjourn.
Or the case is before the courts.
Yeah, well, they can't start the case because the policeman not turn up to the case.
But that's so. And there's something I have a problem with. Due process. This term due process, what we use to get guilty people off of charges because they need due process. You catch one guy. The police find and they come out on a window with a bag of jewelry in their hand. What? Why do you take 2 or 3 years to try such a case? That could be done immediately. Sir, Your Honor, the man had the thing in his hand. We catch him red-handed. What do you think? Guilty as charged. I don't see a problem. Why you have to we have to have due process and all of this. Where's the due process when you have things like, say your boy Trump, drop and bomb on a fishing boat coming off of the coast of Venezuela? Where's the due process for those sailors that are on that boat? And who's to say that they weren't merely just fishermen? Is it? And then when they had a couple of them hanging on to a piece of board, they bombed them again.
But
You
everybody say the fishermen, but nobody has come forward to name the fishermen or present their case.
Well, nobody has come forward with any evidence that it was cocaine on the boats either. Certainly no evidence that those boats could have reached anywhere near to the United States coast.
I believe they were drug boats. Of
course you will. Trump tell you believe that, you have to believe.
I lived in Belize long enough to remember all the drug boats that used to come through Belize.
All right, but just because of that, just because on drug boats used to come out, then every boat
we're looking drug boats with three big horsepower.
You have such a boat, Spooner, don't you?
But not tell nobody, no man. All
right. No. But you have a boat, and if you were to go out there now and all of a sudden, or they think you got drugs in us and they bomb you.
Maybe if I had, like 6 blue barrels of gasoline on it and 4 big horsepower engines, and I just steam through Caribbean.
Did you see any pictures, any evidence that suggested that this might have been?
I'm sure those guys monitored those boats coming off.
Oh, yes. Is that it? Is that the evidence you will present? Yes, Trump told you. Yes. All right. Anyway. Forget that. It's 9th of March.
You know, get me. I believe they were drug boats. I sorry.
No. I know. I get you to believe that Trump is not a good guy. That's all. Tell the truth. You're a MAGA.
I'm a moderate leaning to the right.
Moderate my foot.
I'm a binary political ideology.
You're so far in that direction.
I'm a binary
and did you know?
Ideologist.
Did you know it is said that there's the right and the left wing of the United States political party are just 2 wings of the same bird? That bird being
I've heard that before. Somebody came up with that.
Well, and it makes sense, doesn't it, though? Whatever.
Good evening, Gregory. Nice to see you.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. Thank you very much.
Where the old boy there, G Mike?
I must say, I'm creeping directly. I don't know. Right. He sounded like he was going to come on.
Yeah.
But you know, he's a little slower than he used to be. Yeah. Thank goodness. The Michael catch on now. Whatever I try to.
But I admire him. You see how old he is, just like Trump. Look,
you don't admire him. You don't admire him. You worship him.
I worship Joe and
you Google Gaga over the
look at those 2 old guys. Joe is 83, something like that. Trump is 80. Look at the energy that man got. Did you see him today with Lionel Messi?
No.
What a fun press conference at the White House. A lot of laughter and joking. It was, wow, what a great presentation.
In the wake of all that devastation that he's wrecking over there, there's laughter.
Look at the devastation we talking tonight. And
who's this guy? Who was he with? Ronaldo?
Suazo, the guy with the big teeth. I was worried he was going to bite Trump. You know, when they showed their teeth. Lionel Messi was there.
What was the occasion?
To celebrate Lionel Messi and a baseball star and the team for winning, which is owned by an American Cuban. I think the team is named Cosmos. Is it called Cosmos?
Or the football? Yeah.
And he was funny. You should watch it.
Oh man!
You see a lighter side of Trump.
Right.
You don't see the one painted like the
Trump
Democrat.
is all dark.
No man.
Speak of the devil. Joe. Greetings.
Good evening, Your Excellency.
Yes, sire. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go local, but this boy they push me into the international thing, Joe.
Go ahead. You are the chairman. Go ahead.
What you think about the war in Iraq, Joe? Or there's not war because only Congress can.
You said Iraq.
Iran. Few didn't slip. Iran. The so-called war, because again, it's not a war. Congress has not declared a war.
The Senate voted for it.
The Senate did vote for it.
They approved it. They wanted to have the Democrats introduced a resolution to prevent Trump from doing what he's doing, and the Senate voted against the resolution.
That's not the same as voting for it.
That's what I was getting to ask. I mean, if you vote against a resolution, is it the same as voting for what the resolution was trying to prevent?
The resolution was to stop him from doing what he's doing. Yeah.
And they said, let him go.
They
It's
said
okay.
no. They wanted to introduce a resolution.
But it's controlled by the Republicans, right?
I think some Democrats voted along with the Republicans.
Wow.
One Democrat.
Which one, Gregory? Do you know?
I can't remember his name. He's from
Yeah,
North Carolina.
it's forgettable.
I think I saw more on Fox. They showed you more.
Yeah, and you actually still watching Fox? Okay.
I watch all of them.
Yeah, right.
I even read for
You,
your
you,
Facebook
you watch
page.
all of them, but you only
I
believe
even
one.
read for you Facebook page with all that fool that you put out there.
You watch all of them, but you only believe one.
Yeah.
Joe, come on, let's go. Where you think? The situation looks funny. Jeremy thinks he's gonna win. They're gonna vanquish Iran. They have already killed the supreme leader, and at the end of the day, all will be hunky dory again.
That we don't
Any
know.
thoughts?
Yeah, well, the first question for me is that what is the purpose? It's not clear to me as to what is the end game that Trump is supposed to be aiming for. And I say this because whereas I do not support that sort of extremism of not theocracy, because it is a theocracy, I do not support their way of life in terms of imposing this kind of hardships on people and killing over 30,000 of them people who oppose them. But that aside, I don't understand really what is it that Trump is looking to achieve, as it happened in Venezuela. Is it that he wants a regime change? Then apparently when he pressed for that, he said it's not that. Then they said that Iran was posing a threat, and that they preempted the threat because Iran was about to attack even the United States. Again, I don't think people are really buying that. So I personally don't think that there was any justifiable reason for the United States to have gone into Iran the way they did. I don't see the need for it. I think that should be left for the people of Iran to resolve their own issues.
Well, it reminds me of Gandhi when the British were leaving, and Gandhi going to try get India independence, and the British told him to say, if when we leave here, there's going to be nothing but chaos. And Gandhi said, yeah, but it'll be our chaos, and let us handle that. Jeremy, what do you think is the purpose for going into Iran?
Well, the only thing that I can see, they've been enemies since 1979. Okay, let me just say one thing. I didn't believe when the Shah was put in by the West, and he was good for a moment when he brought Western civilization, educated his people. There were a lot of them in England when I was studying. But I think he went too far. He had his secret police, Mossack. I think that's the name of it. And they would come, you'd see them in England, you'd see a class of Iranians, and you see this Iranian in a suit, and everybody knew he was watching the students, what they were doing. And I think he got out of hand. He wanted to keep his power. So any dissidents, any opposition, he got rid of, or he tortured, or whatever. So they got rid of him, and they brought in the Ayatollah, and made an Islamic state, right?
Right.
And that was very oppressive and very anti-American. So I think that is one reason why. Remember, they kidnapped all the Americans. That was under Carter.
Right.
And then also, we have to remember that we are a big ally. Well, America is a big ally of Israel. And I think that's another big reason. I think that they figure that whether true or not, I don't know, but apparently they created Hezbollah, and Hezbollah is that is causing a lot of problems in the Middle East. And I guess America and Trump is doing a lot of business with Qatar and with Dubai and with Saudi Arabia and so on, and they see Iran as a trouble spot and causing havoc in that area and not allowing the area to move forward. But I think one of the biggest things is its threat to Israel. And I think that's probably why they're there, why they're going there. And also, like Joe said and you said, How are they going to solve it? They've gotten rid of, they killed the Ayatollah. His son is now the Ayatollah, the leader. Trump is encouraging the Iranians to demonstrate, to protest, and to kick them out and take over. I don't know what he's going to do. It's going to be very interesting to see how does he solve this problem. I think Americans are very naive about the Middle East. They don't know who they're dealing with. You're dealing with some very fanatical people, and we saw that with Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was a brutal leader, but you had to be brutal to keep everybody under control. And they moved him out of power, and that's what happened. You saw the whole old Middle East went crazy, ISIS and all of that. So I don't know how they're going to deal with Iran. It's going to be interesting. That's my take on it now.
But what if we go back to the case that they were making before, that Iran was supposed to enriching uranium
Yes.
to make atomic bombs. And then remember about a year ago now,
They bombed them out, yeah.
they bombed them out, and according to the Trump, he obliterated. That was the word he used. He obliterated.
Yeah.
He obliterated the factories that they had. So that was supposed to have finished.
Yeah.
Now remember, Obama had an agreement with Iran. President Obama did have an agreement with Iran regarding the uranium enrichment. But when Trump came in, he didn't like the agreement. So he broached the agreement. Then they had a meeting currently when the bombing started in Geneva. And they were in Geneva along with Iran and the Americans trying to find a solution to the issue. But
they were negotiating at the very moment.
Yes.
When they were bombing.
That's right.
And what I found disturbing also, it was in the middle of the month of Ramadan, the holy month for the Muslims when they were praying. At the same time now, they were arresting Don Lemon for covering a protest near a church. If that's not the height of hypocrisy, I don't know what is. And Spooner is saying that he thinks they're going to win. But win at what? And what is going to be the victory? Certainly Iran is not going to be just lay down and die.
Well, they want a regime that is more pro-Western than what is there right now. So that is their goal, obviously.
I think the biggest thing is that Donald Trump is a lapdog for Netanyahu. And Netanyahu, because of Netanyahu, he has attacked a number of countries. Even Iraq was Netanyahu's brainchild. And it's a sad state of affairs because you have a country as big, a country that was a beacon of hope for all of us, everywhere in the world. We saw America as this fighter for freedom of all. What we are seeing now is just pathetic. I mean, like they can't even do anything unless Netanyahu says, sick him. And he's sick. He's sick. He is sick. And that's all I have to say on that matter. Gregory, any comments on that before we jump into it?
I'm sure we're not going to get, if they're expecting regime change in Iran, that might happen. But they're not going to get a regime that's going to be pro-Western. The people, for the 40 years that they have been there, have been so cultured into what there is right now. Yes, they want freedom and they want more liberty, and they want more ability to exercise their civil rights. But those countries are not structured to deal with the concept of democracy and freedom as we do here in the West. They're completely different. They're completely different in how their thinking is, partly because of religion, and more importantly because of their culture, of how they have faced government control and how they aspire in terms of their civil rights. So while I believe there could be some changes in the manner in how their democracy is expressed, it's not going to be a pro-Western type of democracy. And I don't believe for 1 second that they'll be able to dominate the oil and control over Iran as they seem to have so quickly and so easily done in Venezuela.
You're different, dealing with a different type of
Yeah,
person.
yeah. And
Uh,
you have to remember that Iran is 90 million, Venezuela is 15 or 16 million people. So there's a lot of difference there. And what seemed to have been in the common I see in both cases, though, is that there's had to have been some inside infiltration and betrayal of the system that exists there, and maybe with the reason, with the frustration of people in those societies, why they were so easily able to identify the locations of and the events that was going on in those countries. So there's a lot to unpack, I believe, in trying to understand this. But we keep looking. A lot of times, people, and it doesn't fall in this fully, but a lot of times we keep looking at what we call the evil of communism, but what we are failing to see is the crime of capitalism. And I think that there's a lot to be addressed in those ends.
I'm wondering though, because we're moving from one issue so fast to the other. I mean, globally, what's the story with Venezuela? Because we have not heard any more about that. Has that been such an overwhelming success that they just succeeded in doing what they wanted to do, and now everything is back to normal over there? Or are
Well,
they festering cells?
at the press conference today, when Trump was invited the football team, Messi and Ronaldo Suazo there, he mentioned that he's very happy with the leader of Venezuela presently, and that apparently this is what he said. I have nowhere to check it, but and he's saying that they're buying a lot of oil from Venezuela, so Venezuela is now making a lot of money. That's what he's saying. Okay, so that's
Yeah,
just
right. That is, yeah. And let's take him on his word,
yeah,
right?
yeah. But nobody's going to
He has
believe him
never
because
told a lie.
everybody's so
He,
anti-Trump. They won't believe him. Yeah.
and do you
Well,
blame
well,
them?
certainly the United States doesn't need to buy oil from Venezuela. The United States is
No.
a surplus oil producer at the moment.
Yeah.
So
But
they're
sometimes
not
they like
buying
to
from
have the
Iran.
reserves. They like to stock it up. Yeah.
Well, maybe they're doing that, but I don't believe it. The United
Yeah.
States we're supplying oil right now. We are net producing more oil than we're consuming using our shale oil and all that type of infrastructure that we have right now. But maybe they are allowing the Venezuelan to sell their oil to China and other places that need it. But what I see as a real problem is that all these actions is energy focused to me, and it is blocking China. China is going to have to make some strategic decision to come from under this pressure that the United States is putting them under, because they're taking away their Venezuelan oil, they have blocked their Persian Gulf Iranian oil, and so pretty soon I expect that there'll be some response from them, and I don't know what it'll be, but it cannot go on, and I don't think it will go on for much, much longer.
Do
Well,
you guys go ahead, Joe?
I think that there is something that we must be more prominent in our discussion in terms of trying to understand what is happening between these countries and among countries of the West and the East. It all depends on who at a particular time is leading a country. It happens to be Donald Trump today, and it happens to be Republicans and Donald Trump. Let's look at the character first quickly and put it in a nutshell. Donald Trump is no doubt an unpredictable individual. Donald Trump is a transactional type leader. That's what he does. He do business. He's in business. That's what he does. Good. Now, that kind of leader evidently is not good to lead countries. Donald Trump has proven not to be a leader, especially to be leading the most powerful country in the world. And I'm saying this because when you had presidents before him, despite the relationship that was there with Cuba and the United States, with Venezuela and the United States, with Iran and the United States, you'll find that they were more accommodating. Under Biden, under Obama, there was improvements taking place between Iran and the United States. Improvement was taking place between Cuba and the United States. So what is happening today is happening because of who the leader of that country is, the United States. Come November, they lose the midterm elections. you're going to see a change in the relationship. Then come election for the president, they will change president for sure. And then you will begin to see a change again. So what I sense is happening, and when you listen to again, I would call them the experts. Okay, they are experts in the politics and economics and the geopolitics of the world. If you listen to them, they are thinking the same way. That who is on watch at that particular time. So when the United States, here you were sitting down in Geneva, if the issue was about the enhancement of uranium for nuclear power, for making bombs and to attack the United States, America has no need to be afraid of Iran. None. Because America can wipe out Iran tomorrow. He can. So there is no doubt about that. There is no need to fear him. Netanyahu, to me, is in fact one of the, I would say that he's a rabble rouser himself. It is Netanyahu that is more offensive and hostile towards these other countries. But if you see tomorrow, there's a change in Israel, and you get a more moderate or a leader that is more considerate in sitting around the table, you will see change again. So
But
what is happening?
do you believe that the Israeli people want that, or are they happy with this Netanyahu attack everybody and wipe them out before they wipe us out kind of
Very good
president?
question. Let's look at Israel. Right now, Israel is very much divided. They are. But there are certain things that will unite them. America is divided right now, but there are certain things that can unite them. So I would say that in the case of Netanyahu, he's not a popular president. Evidently not. Elections tomorrow, they may very well remove him. Same thing in the United States. So I feel like what will happen, the war will drag on for a while. Evidently, Iran cannot sustain a war with the United States as the United States can. It's true that the Iron Dome will be the issue for them, because the Patriot, to build a Patriot missile as part of the Iron Dome takes that time to build it, and it's very expensive. So the concerns they may have is how much they can sustain the defense.
Do you believe they might get some help from China and Russia and North Korea and some of the other countries that are also victims of the aggression from the East?
I would say that if Trump, and I'm saying Trump, not even necessarily the United States, I think if he push it too far, I think they could get a reaction, which he may regret.
You were suggesting that there are things that can unite them, but there are also things that can divide them and can maybe serve as a catalyst towards much unrest. I was looking at this Alex Pretty killing that was done by ICE, and I'm pretty sure that if that had happened in the summertime, there would have been hell to pay. It happened, and people were out there in sub-zero degree weather protesting. But because of the fact that they couldn't sustain that in that kind of weather, I think that was a saving grace. But at the end of the day, one more incident like that, and all hell will break loose.
But let's take the United States back again. Look at the vote in the Senate. It's true he voted in favor of Trump, but look how narrow it is. So it's not that Trump has that big support in America. The majority of the people, I would say, the majority, not necessarily the majority out of who voted, but the majority of them are opposed to what Trump has done in going after Iran. So the Senate is an indication. Look how close it is. So it goes to the House. So what they are doing, they are voting along party lines, except in 1 or 2 votes. So they are very divided. The Republicans is going that way with Trump, because that is the way it's the way Republicans generally tend to behave.
They're programmed that way.
Yeah. They are very, what you call them, cult type thinking.
Yeah.
So with the Democrats, if you see their change in November in the Senate, in the Congress, you will begin to see changes.
But do you think the Democrats have in place a system that can step in and do what's necessary to right this ship?
Of course, they have it.
No.
I will say now, I will say the United States of America, right? The largest country in the world, military, financially. He has the capacity in terms of that. What America needs is leadership. That's what it needs right now.
I wouldn't say financially. You know how much they're in debt, right?
No, no, but,
$300 trillion.
yeah,
No,
but
I
that's
don't think that much. No,
money America,
18 trillion. 18.
no, yeah, 19 trillion.
yeah, but America can handle it. That's not a problem for them. The reality of
Mr. Joe will say they'll just print more money.
That's right. That's what they do. They print money.
That's what,
You have
that's what they do. That's what they do. That's what government do.
Let's look at the economy of the United States. You have under what? About 400 million people. They are the fourth largest population in the world. The fourth. But look how far behind they are behind China and India. And then the next one is where Pakistan, I think, or Indonesia. Then after that, America. But if you see the GDP of the United States with that 300, it's larger than many other countries combined.
Oh, many others than most of them combined.
Exactly. So I'm saying do not underestimate their power, their financial and military power. No, the issue is how best can you use that kind of power with diplomacy to avoid this kind of unnecessary. You know what it will cost the United States for what they are doing right now. So you have to ask yourself that if you had another, a more temperate, a leader that has a better vision and is more considerate. When I look at the Prime Minister of Canada, Trump is no match for the Prime Minister of Canada. Trump come over like a hooligan compared to the James Carney. James Carney is far more knowledgeable, far more intelligent, far better than Trump.
The Democrats don't have such a person. That's my problem.
So
The
if they don't have
Democrats
it,
do not have such a person.
I'm not saying
And,
that.
and if they do, they're not going to put them up because this is not set up that way. This is not for you to get some. It's not between a good and an evil. It's about the better of two evils. And for the most part, we lose anyway.
Well, not the better of two evils, the lesser of two evils. All right, sorry.
Let's hope, yeah. Either way, good.
What I'm saying to you is that if you believe that there is no leader you say that can emerge from within the Democrats with what? Vision and transformational type leadership. That's what you need. All countries need that. If you say that you do not see anyone within Newsom or any others, well, I do believe they are. I do believe there are leaders within the Democratic Party that can emerge and be a better leader than Trump.
Yeah, they are leaders. But the question I have and stick in my mind though is, what is the lady Maria Mercado from Venezuela that turned over her Peace Prize is thinking today? Would she make the same decision considering what we're seeing in Iran? And the reason I ask that could have easily been Venezuela if things had gone a little different way, that they did not have those insiders betraying the leadership that was in place. And there was actually need to be a real battle of some sort. So I'm wondering what she's thinking today and how she feels about just handing over her.
Was she betrayed? Was she betrayed? Because was she promised that she would be the leader if Maduro
No,
was
no, no.
removed?
I'm just thinking that she's probably wondering what. Look at what is happening in
But
Iran.
she didn't want that. She would be ready to burn down the city just to rule over the ashes. You know that. That woman, she was no good.
Yeah,
But
I agree. I think she's an opportunist,
right.
but she didn't realize that she was dealing with a leader that is transactional. Now, when Trump looked at Machado, he realized, I can't do business with you. You're not ready. That's why Trump said one is an opportunist, the other is a transactional leader. So Trump was looking for somebody he could do business with. That's all he's looking for. The business, he's looking for business to make money for his family, and then.
Yeah.
So therefore, he decided, but you know something, let me try the lady that is there. And then they begin to make overtures. Then afterwards, they begin to feel to her as though she might not be the right one. You know, he had a position he's taking now with Iran. I think that's what he said today. that he will have to be involved as to decide who will lead. That's what he said. That's what he said.
I'm sure the first thing he's going to do is build a golf course. But I have a
Well,
question.
actually, the president made himself the commander and in charge of the military operation. So that was a little surprising to see. I've seen the Gulf Wars. I've seen other wars that U.S. had executed, and I've never heard the president identify themselves as such, the commander of the operation. So I was a little taken aback by that, and we know he's the commander in chief.
I have
Well,
never seen a president for quite some time. In fact, I don't remember seeing one in my lifetime. I guess they were there before. But whenever you have a difference with him, personally him, he get rid of you. He's just intolerant. He wants those around him that is loyal to Trump.
you
That's
guys
why
are making Spoon uncomfortable. I'm sorry.
No, I'm
I,
listening. I'm
I,
listening.
I don't think. I mean, it's a fact. Whenever you do not agree with him, whenever you do not toe the line with him, he will get rid of you. That's what he does. He just got rid of what the lady named Christie today. I think if I have.
Christy.
Okay.
Christy Noem. She's the lady in charge of ICE. Yeah.
How about Pam Bundy? He had to do something about her.
No, she's loyal. She's loyal to him. She's part of the cult movement.
Mhm.
And Bundy, what she will do anything. And the other one, when he exit, as you look at him, you can see the
Oh
mad
yeah.
yeah. You can look at him. He's from Goebbels.
There were a tough situation there, and I don't know. And Jeremiah could answer this question, but I have a cousin that's rabid supporter of Trump, and I'm wondering, after seeing everything that is going on, everything that he has done, how do you look at that and still say this is a good president, the best president ever? And that's kind of the words that he would use. How do you do that when in fact it's quite obvious that the moves he's making are not in the best interest of neither the United States nor the world at large? Is it really that you just
Well, if you look at the options for the Democrats, I guess you would think that Trump is the best thing for America right now.
you're agreeing with me on that one, but I don't think I was saying it in that context, but I hear you. The Trump,
I know.
I don't see anything great in the Democrats' leadership, but nothing I think compares as badly as Trump, and nothing compares in that way. It's just, and again, initially I felt he was the better of the two candidates, and I still don't know that has been proven that he would not have been. I think yes, if Kamala had got in, they'd still be at war with Iran. It doesn't matter. But I think that what disappoints me is that the guardrails that are supposed to be in place, the checks and balance to keep him honest, so to speak, has failed miserably. The whole system that we felt was in place in America to keep a president in a straight line is in shambles. It's not. Trump has pushed that envelope clean off the table.
Mr. Chairman, why you believe that if Kamala Harris had been president, that they would have still gone to war with Iran?
Because she was a continuation of everything that Biden stood for, and they were the two who started those two wars, the one in Ukraine and the one in Palestine. I really think that Kamala is married to a Jew, and for all we know, he's a Zionist. I don't know. I've been trying to find out more about him. So
And I think when she was running for president, I think she met with Netanyahu, didn't she?
Oh
When
yeah,
he
she
came to
she
and
was.
she gave him their support that if she got in, that they would have her support.
So everything that he wanted, she would have given just as well as Trump is giving.
Yeah.
And
Maybe not as much as Trump. Maybe not as much as Trump, but I think she would have given.
the sad thing is that Trump came in as a no war, a peace president. In fact, he promised to end the war in Ukraine on the first day after he was elected.
Well, they say you have to create war to get peace.
But that's not that. That's
You
not
know,
adding to that argument at all. You're not
you know,
responding to that.
yeah.
Uh,
But
uh, I am saying he made those pledges. Did he not? Do you remember him saying that he would be a peace president and there would be no wars under his watch?
Yeah, they're bringing that up a lot. Yes, they're bringing that up a
No,
lot
no, no,
right
no,
now.
no, 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 no,
No, I
not.
said that they're bringing that what you're saying up right now because of what's going on in Iran. Yes, you're right. They've been saying that. I don't recall him saying that, but I'm sure that he must have
But
said
I
it.
do because
So,
that was the reason that I felt because I thought that that America would be able to settle the differences at home. Um, but it seems that he's divisive even at home. I don't know many people, and he's lost a lot of support. You know
well,
that.
no, you don't know that for sure. The elections will tell you that. There's a silent majority, just like the silent majority that put him in, that everybody thought they wasn't out there. They put him in.
Yeah,
So
but that was before.
don't feel that he's lost everybody's support.
But
You
Jeremy,
don't
not
know.
everybody is as MAGA as you
You
are,
don't
bro.
know. You don't
what,
know that.
what is
America wants to. Anyway, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
Mr.
Yeah.
Students, the chairman said something which is a fact, is factual. And he's making it based on what we all do, all of us, on the polling.
Yes,
The
but
polling,
when the elections were going on, they had the same results that Kamala and the Democrats were going to win. What I'm saying is that was false. There was a silent majority that when they asked them to poll them because of the attacks on the Republicans and Trump, people didn't want to get because of how
Jeremy,
they attack. If you
Jeremy,
you know if
what,
you say you support Trump,
no,
you
but
should
what
see
you're,
what they bombard you. Oh, you're a fascist. You're a racist. You don't
but
like
what you're,
women. You don't like this. You don't like that.
but what
So
you're
people
doing,
shut up. People
but what
shut
you're
up. They
doing,
don't say
but what
anything.
you're doing, Mr. Spooner, is
What?
this.
What am I doing?
Polling is a science, but it is not an exact science. What it gives you is an indication.
Yes.
What happened with the
And they
polling?
were wrong. They were wrong. They said the
What
Republicans were
happened?
not going to win.
Yeah, what I'm saying, what happened in the polling in that election has already been remedied. They found out what was the problem. No, if you say then you will dismiss polling, then that's what everything is doing in America. All these things that are coming out, they are from polling. Every time they give any comment on, that's all you can do. And the only poll you will have that will be the exact polling is election.
let
But when
me
you look at, when
You
you look
know,
at
remember
the
when PUP get kicked out? PUP think they may win, but on the ground we knew that they weren't going to
But
win.
but what you're saying, Spoon, now listen to me. There are prominent voices like Tucker Carlson, Candice Miller, Marjorie Taylor Greene that were staunchly in Trump's corner that are now staunchly against
But isn't
Trump.
that the beauty about Americans'
But that's
constitution?
that's
That
not
you
the
can go
argument we
against your
have.
party?
That is not the
I think that's
argument we're
great.
having. That is
Yeah.
not the argument
But
we're having,
No.
Jeremy.
But I'm
Stop,
just saying that you're pointing
stop the
out the beauty.
gaslight.
You all are worried about Trump, but
Nobody's worried
I'm
about Trump.
enjoying the
No, no, no,
beauty.
no, no.
I'm
No,
enjoying the beauty of the American Constitution, where they're allowed to do that. If Joe was in power and never agreed with Johnny Briceño, he'd have to leave the party. He'd have to go sit on the other side.
Are you serious?
but I don't think we are making a rational argument. Yeah,
No,
because all we are saying is this: the polls continue to be used by everyone in America, the press, all the social media. It's the polls that they use.
But how
The
come they
polling-
were wrong? How come they were wrong with the results of the last election?
We'll come back to that because the poll is not an exact science. No,
Well, then
it's not.
maybe this one right now is not exact either.
Yeah, but let me see if I could finish it then. The
Okay.
polling is showing that his rating has gone down. Now, when they do this, they will take that poll and then they go back 5, 10, 15, 20 presidents before. And they use the same polls to compare them. And it is showing indeed that Trump polling, his disapproval polling is very low. That's what it is saying. Now, how
But
can
I'm-
we argue against? How
I'm
can we argue
surprised.
against?
I'm surprised that even Spooner would argue that because it is obvious. And
That is-
again,
that's
there are prominent voices that used to be in his corner, trumpeting his virtues all over the place. But now there are more and more people coming out and saying this man is unhinged. Is not that bad. The word fascist has been thrown out there. So I don't know. And again, I'm wondering what are people looking at that can look at this and he did say, he could walk down Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and that certain base would still support him. I believe he was right, and he has proven himself right. It's a sad state, but it is what it is, isn't it? Where's that, Jeremy?
That's the way it is. I'm not
That's the
going to
way.
argue with you.
That's the way it is.
I would say that, let's take, for example, if you want to give credit, when you look at the immigrants, the illegal immigrants, you can give him credit for that because indeed that has slowed down tremendously. And we have to give him the credit for that. So when he's to be credited, he's to be credited. But when he promised the bread and butter issues, which had to do with inflation, a better economy, more robust jobs, he's failing on those. It is failing.
Were the illegal immigrants really hurting America that much? And has it made that big a difference in the lives of Americans because they have less of those immigrants there?
I think it was bad optics. I don't know that it was really that bad in terms of what was happening in the economy, because it provided the cheap labor that America wants, desire, and sometimes needs. So for that reason, it was working. Why a lot of people, I believe, opposed it, the unions, and supported him, and some very poor people, was because they saw that immigration as a threat to their survival. It was constantly bringing down wages for them and taking away opportunity from them. So for those reasons, I think people supported the Trump. I know even Mexican families that were recent immigrants that supported and voted for President Trump, and 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 even some black people that are considered very lower middle class that supported him because they believe in those ideas that the immigration that was I
Well,
was supported by the Democrats, but seem to have been a little softer tone. And so I believe that a country cannot exist and survive without the protection of its borders. They need to have control. And it was disturbing and annoying when you look and see what was happening at the borders. And the president put a stop to that. So like Joe said, we have to give him that sort of recognition for those efforts.
I've also seen a lot of comments and interviews where people, immigrants who went through the due process, weren't happy with these immigrants who were illegal cutting in front of the line and not going through due process. I also heard comments where people didn't like the idea that people wanted these illegal immigrants because they could be exploited with wages and sexual, what do you call it, that kind of immigration where you bring in sex workers and things like that. So those are other arguments why people didn't like it. But me, immigration, I believe it should come in with due process.
Yeah,
That's
but
Uh,
what
I
I
think
believe.
again, maybe we're modeling up the immigration policy. The credit I am saying would go to him because he did put a hold on those people who were coming in illegally.
Yes, yes.
Then
Yeah,
he
we
went
all
a
agree
little
with
bit.
that.
Then he went a little overboard to the extreme, which is then begin to offend the economy because they have workers that come into America legitimately with special permits to come and do agricultural work, and that is what it was hurting the farmers because he went too far when he
maybe,
could have
maybe,
stopped
maybe the
What do
it.
you
South
mean gone too
African.
far? What did he do? He was kicking
Because
them out of the country too, the ones with legal permits and all of that.
right, so what he was doing, he went to the extreme and he disallowed permits for those kind of people too, and that is where he hurt the farmers. It's not the illegal ones that they were concerned about, people coming in illegally and not and abusing the system. No, they are talking about giving them the permission as they were doing to come in. They do their work and they go back out. And then he went to that extreme, and that is when he offended the farmers.
Well, maybe the South Africans are gonna do that kind of work now, no? Because
Well,
they're
they're
these
industrious people. I'm sure they would. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Sure.
They're like the Mennonites, you know.
He said it with a smirk on his face. So I
Yeah,
Uh,
don't
you,
know
you,
what
you need you need to bring in the Mennonites into America.
he's
They
like
do
Trump.
American
He's like
good.
Trump. You never know where he stands. But
Yeah.
listen a minute. So Allen is saying the issue of the border was not a problem. Mexico
Deterred.
deterred many of the immigrants. Okay, from going over, you mean from going into the U.S.? I
What year is
imagine.
she talking about? When was that?
I imagine pre-Trump, no?
Well,
Yeah,
if we remember, there were times when they said there were 100,000 people at the border and another 200,000 lined up to get there.
Well, there were caravans. I remember going up.
Yeah, it was crazy. It
And
was crazy.
I remember saying that if there are that many people going fleeing from a country, maybe they could stay and fix what's wrong with their country and then make their country better. But to run into another country and then be used to build that other country and then turn up their noses at the people that they left behind. But speaking of sex workers, what happened to this Epstein files? Has this really been enough of a distraction that we're no longer talking about the genocide in Palestine, and we're not talking much about those Epstein files?
that will come back again. That's just on the back burner for right now.
Is it
I
is
know
there?
they said that 48,000 um, articles and different things still are left to be released. So the Justice Department had said everything was released, but then some
3 million left. Yeah, they only released half. They did say
yeah,
only half of the files were released. There
yeah,
was
yeah,
6 million, and they released about 3 million. And boy,
So,
when you talk about millions, you talk about a lot of work to do
yeah.
to go through all of those. This man was really compiling some stuff. He had to have in mind blackmail. Why do you compile a lot of information, and a lot of it included videos and comments by people? Some of what I've heard is so disturbing. Boy, you never want to repeat it. But again, I think this is the problem with AI. You don't know what to believe anymore. They've,
That's
they've,
right.
they've blurred the line between reality and fantasy. And,
Yeah,
and who knows what is what. What we are seeing on AI, on the internet that AI is doing is simply amazing. You don't know if what you're seeing is real or somebody generated that through this AI program.
yeah.
So,
It's frustrating because if you're looking for the truth, it's so hard to get to the truth, and if to get to the truth, you have to keep fact checking. Fact checking. That's very tedious too. You know.
What
So
I think is very unfortunate, and again, it's the Republicans to be blamed. If you bring about the Epstein files, and the investigation, why would you have wanted to bring Hillary Clinton before the committee? Why?
well, her name was mentioned in there, but
That,
why, if you're going to bring
so why would
everybody
you
whose name was
want to
mentioned,
She had never met
bring why
Mr.
you are
Epstein,
bring,
she
here you
indicated.
are, here you are will bring the former first lady who have never met the man, but you have the first lady now who was with him. Why don't you bring her?
are the pictures of her on a pole true, Jeremy?
is what poll truth? Which
The
one?
pictures of Melanie Trump dancing on a pole, doing
No,
it for
I don't think
Epstein.
that's true.
I don't know. I haven't seen that photograph. I'll be very honest with you.
But she was a part of his gang, apparently.
But the comparison I was simply making is that
I don't think so.
I'll
why
check
would
it
you
right now.
want to bring Hillary Clinton, who had never met the man, before this committee, when the president first lady had? I'm not saying it in any derogatory way, but they had relationship, but not in a derogatory sense, because that's how he met her.
Well, you don't even know that. So yeah, you
That's what
don't
I'm saying.
you don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nobody is disputing that they didn't. So why you want to bring Hillary?
distraction maybe. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I think this is the part about, and I don't want to speak to them more as Republicans, but this particular behavior of this group of Republicans, for you to become with such malice, why you want to bring her? Then, all right, you want to bring Clinton because Clinton never denied having some connection with it.
And we know his history, don't we?
Of course.
He,
Well,
he, he will hanky panky in a minute. Monica will tell you that. But listen, here's the thing. The whole situation is a mess. We don't know how it's going to end. It's not going to be pretty for sure.
Hey, I'm also Mr. Ready right now. But
You there? Are you there? But hit that mute mic. Hit that mute button. Whoever it is. Was that you, Greg? Yeah. Listen.
You know that thing you said about the picture of Melanie Trump dancing on a pole for
Did you ask
Epstein?
AI?
That is false. It's not true. It's
Okay.
fictional artwork.
You ask AI, of course.
I asked fact check and I asked Politico and so on. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It was an image done by a British artist called Alison Jackson, who creates realistic photographs featuring celebrity lookalikes. So apparently it's not true.
Okay.
All right. And that's what you're talking about, AI and all this stuff that's going on out there. I think what they should do, they should pass a regulation that anybody can't prove that what they are posting, they should be prosecuted.
Boy,
Because
you got a problem though. What they
You
should
go
do,
fill the jail.
what they should do is develop a program that can scan whatever it is and tell whether it's real or AI. That might somebody will make a lot of money if they ever come up with that. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But that could work.
No, it's frightening, G Mike, because right now
they're
somebody
doing
could take a
some-
video of you right now on this podcast and then actually produce it and put it on Facebook, having you say things, and when you read your lips, exactly what's coming out of your mouth,
Yeah.
even though you didn't say it, you're saying it.
With your voice.
Yeah.
With your voice. Yeah.
What's frightening?
They're developing some protection in AI that it will have to have watermark to show
Okay.
what is AI generated. So each
Good.
AI generated program will have to have that. I think the Congress still need to vote on it, but those are some of the proposals that's being put forward.
Yeah, that might work. But you always have bootleggers that's gonna be bypassing that system, no? So
But usually the AI are developed by established companies. You know, it's not small companies that's doing these type of things. So
but there are people out there like this lady with Jeremy the top about that has mastered these programs and can do it themselves, and they're not only one or two.
No, but they're using the application program of these Microsoft and those other companies. So they're creating the content, but the program they're using to generate it is where the embedded watermark are going to be in. So hopefully, I'm sure there's always smart people tricking stuff, but hopefully there'll be a way to kind of sniff out some of it. I'm sure some, if you're high and well funded, you'll be able to erase some of it and get by with some of it. But that's the intent that Congress is looking at right now.
Let's see what happens. All right, we'll move on now for sure. I was listening to Krem the other morning, and a caller called in, and he was going on and on that he took a dory ride up the river because he wanted to speak to some of the people along the river. And first of all, there was a long discussion about whether it was a dory or a kayak that I thought made no sense, but the host was insisting on getting across his point. And the guy said after talking to those people, everybody was complaining because the change of the finish of the race is going to affect the people that are going to be making money. And I'm like maybe you should have took that ride from the mouth of the Haloba Creek to the Belcan Bridge, because that's the only part on the end of the race that's going to be affected like that. The whole course of the race will be the same. What do you guys think about the finish of the race, the location, and the repercussions of what it's doing?
Yeah, well, I think Baron Bliss is rolling in his grave that his idea for regatta that he saw that gave to the people has now become a money maker for just a few. So that I think it is very sad that this type of thing always needs sponsorship and always need to somehow represent a return to some of the people that makes the investment. But I think they have taken it too far in trying to change the route in that manner that they're doing, and it should, in my opinion, the committee that have set it up needs to take control of it for the 2026,
2027.
2027 upcoming regatta, because the problem is this belongs to the people, and they should have the focus and the control, and not just private.
Love FM might have something to say about that because they believe they own the race, that they're the ones making the decision. The Love FM, Renovian Waiver Company.
Yeah.
Well, to make you feel good, Gregory, on Sunday, there's going to be a Baron Bliss regatta on Buttonwood Bay on Seashore Drive, and that whole area is going to be cut off, and there's going to be vendors, there's going to be music, and so and then there are going to be races in front of the sea there. So
that's Sunday.
That is this Sunday coming right here.
Which the race will be where that day in Boom, right?
No. I'm talking about this is totally separate. This is called the Baron Bliss Regatta.
I know, but what day is that? This Sunday coming. Well, on Sunday, the Ruta Maya race will be at Boom.
Yes, sorry,
yes. And there's a lot of activity up there also.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to the Baron Bliss one. I'm going to go check it out.
All right, good.
But the thing with the Ruta Maya, I only learned about this. I think everybody learned about it. Was it this last Monday?
Yeah.
Why did they take so long to tell everybody?
You know, somebody was talking today, and I believe it was Moody, and the guy who in charge of what department is he in charge of? Yeah, but see, and he was making a point that I was thinking of, but again, as you guys always say, they don't explain to the people in terms that comprehensive where we get a sense of why they're doing what they're doing. They're just doing and shove it down your throat.
Exactly.
Now the mouth of that Halova Creek is very narrow if you've ever been through there. There are a lot of sunken logs under there that sometimes trees fall just spontaneously without it. So it's a big job to clean that section of the river. I've been up there a couple of times in a small boat. Lots of Dr. Flies, I'll tell you that, because there's a canopy and it's a lot of underbrush that you're going through. And the turn, if you have 4 or 5 canoes coming, certainly would affect the course of the race. I can understand. I don't even have a problem with it finishing where you're talking about finishing, because people can always stand on the bridge, and I hope they'll be backing off the highway for that period of time, because then now it stop people from standing on the bridge and watch it. Then people can stand on the other side, which is not in these people's hotel grounds, and also do that. The concern is that small vendors with their liquat and so might not be able to make it up there, but I don't know, maybe you could provide some accommodations for them. And,
but apparently City Council was supposed to work on the Belcan Bridge.
No, that I mean, just
no. What's that?
That is just one of the excuses given. Yeah, they're going to work on it, but not yet.
Okay, so you think that Love FM just decided they put it there regardless whether they fixed the bridge or not? You don't think that let's run?
Yes, no fixing is starting on the bridge right
I'm going on them saying that Belcan Bridge was supposed to be worked on.
Right.
So you couldn't have the race ending there, and so they decided to move to there. That's how I'm taking it.
When's the last time you crossed the Belcan Bridge?
Probably about a few months ago.
Serious? You haven't been over there saying, all right, that's why you be talking like that. I went over it today. There's absolutely no sign of any work being done there.
Okay, exactly.
Hold up. And in a week, that will not be happening. We'll have a week to go. I could understand saying from now to 2027 might need to be shifted.
I just don't want to drag the organizers in the dirt, because whether they're lying or not, I don't know. I'm not in the know. But I'm just saying, I remember them saying that they were going to work on the bridge.
But
if they went on that premise and they decided, okay, they're going to work on that bridge, let us go and find another location. Whether City Council did it or not, they went ahead with their plans because of that.
Well,
that's what they're saying.
I think $600 for 7 tables is a lot of motivation to take it
And
where
so
they
it's
put it.
$1,300 an hour for giving advice. Lawyers can afford another chicken feed to them. $600 between 7 people. And remember, that's not love charging that. That's the Grand Resort charging
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
There's
No, I
a
understand.
section that's
But
called the Plaza where you enter and you
yeah.
get parking and you pay $10. But
Yeah. No, I'm not complaining against
and
commercialism.
that money, that's $600. If you buy food and drink, that will be applied to your bill.
But you're making it seem as if it's either or. Either you pull them through the mud or you extol their virtues.
Well, it's a controversy. I figured that they should have mentioned this long time ago and not 2 weeks ago.
Okay. And
Okay,
then
that's what I believe, and that's why we have this
explain
big controversy.
explain the reason why you're planning
Yes.
on doing it.
Yeah,
And that the fact of Gulcan Bridge being worked on is ridiculous. It's a lie. They have not even started that yet. They have a
They haven't
long
even
way to
awarded
go.
the contract yet.
Thank you. So how you want to come up with that as the excuse and suggesting that okay, it's all right for them to use that as an excuse? That makes no sense.
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Do you know Rene Villanueva? Is he somebody like that?
Well,
Like-
it wasn't him that said it. It was the other guy that said that.
Troy Gabb.
He interviewed the guy, and that's what he said, and that they did not do any cleaning of the river.
Oh yeah.
At that point, because they were not planning on ending the race
Yeah.
there. So that's
Oh,
where
so the reason I
But what
didn't
I'm
clean it.
saying is when I first heard about it, and I think everybody just heard about the new location, was 2 weeks ago.
yes.
So why did they leave it so long to announce that it had been changed?
Because they think they own it.
Okay, well they're doesn't Rene Villanueva or Love FM, don't they have the rights to the Ruta Maya?
I don't think they
I think they do.
I don't think
they
they do. No, I don't think they own it. I don't know for sure.
Yeah. But now you have a trouble. You have a problem now where the Canoe Association is saying don't finish
Yeah.
When the
at
guy
the Hallova Bridge, but go straight down the Hallova Creek.
Yeah.
when this guy that I was mentioning that called into Krem was saying that stuff, Mose came up and suggested that they can't really talk about it because they've been boxed out from the very beginning, and that they don't want to seem to be just because sour grapes, no. But I was thinking at that time that if you have a fight between two, or if you have a contest between two people, invariably one is going to win. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the other one is being victimized. Just that one wins, no. So I don't know if I give much credence to that. But what I'm saying is that yes, Love FM has exclusive rights and practically owns it. Do you know anything about that, Joe? And are you quietly listening there?
No, I don't know much about it except that I hear that they want to corral the viewers so they could maybe make some money from it.
Any you have any problem with that?
Well, if the sponsors believe that time for you to begin to pay to see the fight, well, then I suppose what we can do about that, unless the people who are involved don't want to participate. But for the citizens themselves, I could say why those who are getting their benefit by being in Belize City, the small vendors, and those who want to see the end but cannot afford to go up there. That's the only thing I will vote against it.
You kind of like
It's a sport that they have looked forward for.
but that's a poor excuse, Joe, because we used to walk up to Belizean Beach all the time, which is just about the same distance.
No, what I'm saying is that
You can get up there if you want to.
does anyone know the reason? I haven't heard it clearly. What is the reason why they're moving it?
It seems to me purely financial.
Huh?
The Belcom Bridge maintenance and removal was mentioned. That was
Stop it, Jeremy. Stop.
I'm just saying.
I know, but we just debunked that. There's no way you can keep saying
Okay,
that.
let me ask you something.
If you keep repeating, it's going to make it true.
Mike, let me ask you something.
Yes, go
You
ahead.
are an organizer of the Ruta Maya. City Council comes to you and says, Love FM, we're going to be working on the bridge starting in 2025. Okay.
But you're suggesting that is what happened.
a big
Are you
issue.
suggesting that is what happened?
I'm
You cannot say
speculating. I'm
that you can.
speculating.
How
That is
can you
what is
speculate
happening.
and then put me in a position to hypothetically answer that question? I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous.
You're not in the know, and neither am I.
All
In the
right, so
know,
let's both
okay?
settle
But
on.
what I am saying, I listened to Love FM, and that was one of the reasons.
What do you expect you're going to hear from Love FM? They're the ones that center this controversy,
But I did
Jeremy.
hear that they were going to do the bridge also.
You heard
So
from
it made
somebody?
sense to me.
All
So
right.
it made sense to
But
me.
can we do something? Can we do something?
Yes.
Let's take Spooner's reason that they gave to be true. That's one. What are the reasons they are giving? That's what I'm trying to figure out from what I'm hearing from you all. What are the reasons they gave? One is that the bridge would be fixed, which is not true. What's the other reason then?
That was the only reason they gave, that the bridge was going to be worked on, and they would not be able to accommodate the end of the race. That was the reason.
Only reason they gave why they should have it up there.
Yes.
Okay.
And of
But they
course,
took too long in doing that. They should have announced that the minute that whoever told them that they were going to work on the bridge, the organizers should have said something, not announce it 2 weeks ago.
What I'm trying.
But now that they know that they won't be working on the bridge, then
Right.
why
And we have known that for 6 months now.
Yes.
I am trying to understand why we're having the difference, because I don't know why they're doing it.
For 6 months, we have known that the bridge contract has not been awarded.
So I'm trying to
there
figure
you go,
out,
then, Gregory. So there you go.
I'm trying to figure out, Gregory, is why would why would the city council do that? Go to them and say, look, with a plan for fix this bridge.
That's how that Spooner head. That's I don't think that happened. That's out of Jeremy's head. I don't think the city council went to the organizers and said we're working on the bridge, because the city council doesn't even have the contract for the bridge anymore. It went back to the department of I forgot what
environment or one of them, man.
The project is city council, Gregory.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Okay, all right.
Not anymore.
It's now the Ministry of
Works.
Infrastructure Development.
Okay.
Well, somebody needs to clear it up, because we all need to know why. This is what's wrong with Belize. Everything is kept on the chest, and we don't know what is
That's
going
what
on.
I was saying. I mean, and that has been a complaint on a number of issues on the show, that they're not transparent. They don't come out, and they obviously don't have faith in the intelligence of the Belizean people to understand these things if they tell it to us. Try us.
We have to rely on what is said out there from the news, from the talk shows and so on. That's how we get our information, unless you're in government and you know exactly what is going on. But I'm just saying that from what I heard, the big reason why it was moved was because of the Belkan Bridge was going to go through the maintenance. That's all. And that sounds credible to me, that you would move it if that was what was going to happen.
Wait. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a straight up question.
Yeah.
You think it would be credible if that was going to happen, not happening, or is even imminent to happen? You just think that because that was going to happen, regardless of how long in the future, that would be a good reason for moving it?
I would say that if they were approached by the authorities to say, Love FM, we are going to start working on the bridge, such and such a date, and that date is before the 26th Ruta Maya, then yes, I would say, yes, you have to find another location. Done.
That seems like that don't make no sense to me. What you're saying?
What do you mean that make no sense? What are you
going
to
do?
do?
No sense. No, it makes no sense.
Why doesn't it make any sense?
That's all right, though.
The first time I heard it, and I never followed up through on it. The first time I heard it is because that the bridge would have been undergoing repairs and they would not be able to use it. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
That's what Mr. Spooner is saying. I didn't. Then afterwards, one morning I was listening to Troy Gap and the other gentleman, really. But I wasn't sure what they were saying, except it seems to me that they came up now that to have it there is a place where they can better organize it to get an entrance fee. In other words, to let the sponsors make money from it too. That's what I thought it was.
You know what? Anyway,
I just want to tell you something. The last year, Ruta Maya, I didn't have Spooner's Cafe, but they came there to find out if they could work something there because they were going to do by the courthouse. That's where it was the proposal. They were going to end the
At the
Ruta
courthouse
Maya
walk.
there, but that failed. That failed, and it ended at the Belcan Bridge. So now you got this now ended.
Any idea why it failed?
Isn't that
I
where it's
don't
been
know.
ending for
Oh,
the
because
last
they
3
said
years?
that the courthouse could not accommodate the crowd, and it couldn't be viewed properly. I think that was one of the conclusions.
Yeah, but isn't that where the Balkan Bridge? Isn't that where it has been ending for the last 3 years since its
Yeah,
inception?
since the vision of the Ruta Maya, it's always ended at the Belcan Bridge.
And one part of the tradition of that is that we had a pit pan race at first, greasy pole and all that kind of thing out
At the
there on the
swing
Belcan
bridge.
Bridge.
At the swing
No,
bridge.
no, not the swing bridge, at the
No,
Belcan Bridge.
Balkan Bridge. I used to go there
Originally,
with my
before there was a
grandmother.
Belcan Bridge.
Never was at the swing bridge.
No, it was at
Before the Belcan Bridge.
Before it was there before the Belcan Bridge at that spot. It never ended at the big bridge.
No. That started at the swing bridge.
It probably started at Swing Bridge way back in the early. But
Yeah.
when I was growing up, it was at the B.
Bridge.
When I was growing up, it was at the BEC field that they have it that where the bank sits right now. Because my grandmother used to make food.
Or was that the River Regatta?
Yeah, it was the River Regatta.
Yeah, but so the River Regatta, did the River Regatta morph into this Ruta Maya, or was it the pit pan race that morphed into it?
I think it's the pit pan race that morphed into Ruta Maya. The regatta was a lot shorter. It didn't run that long.
And the Regatta still happens every year, which brings us to another point. The Baron Bliss Fund, because of Baron Bliss Day now.
Yeah.
And Jeremy, is it Baron Bliss' birthday?
Yes.
9th of March, I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah. No, actually it isn't.
Yeah, no, they said, but that's the day we celebrate.
Yeah, we say we celebrate, but it's it's the day of his death, not the day of his birth. The day of his birth is February the 16th, 1869. So I know this, and because go to AI German, but and his real name was not Bliss, it was Barretts. I did an article on it a long time ago about that. I did a lot of research, and then San Pedro, a publication out there redid it without my permission, and when I wrote to them about it, they stopped it, discontinued it. But there's a lot about the Baron Bliss whole fun thing that we need to question, because what is going on with the money? How we know that the original executors of the will were the governor, the colonial secretary, and the attorney general. So I think now it's the attorney general, the governor general, and what became the colonial secretary, Joe? What?
Maybe the financial secretary?
Could be, yeah, financial secretary. All right. So those are the three people that could answer the question as to where's the fund and what's happening. What are some of the things that have been done? I know there's a stipulation in the will that no repairs can be done. You can build something new, but you cannot repair. Like the risk could not be repaired out of the fund. The Baron Bliss Lighthouse cannot be repaired out of the fund. The School of Nursing cannot be repaired out of the fund. So,
Angie, Mike, yeah, you are right. The 9th of March is not his birthday, but his death.
Wonderful.
March 9th, 1926.
Yeah. So it's our question that has to be looked into, and I wonder why none of the media houses are even asking anything about this, because that money is there, and we could do like maybe a stadium or something like that, but build some parks. I don't know if sports. Maybe he might have put in there also that want nothing to do with sports. That might have been a part of the will. I have to read that will. I had it, but it was destroyed by water. So, but it shouldn't be hard. I worked with Leo Bradley actually when I was doing all that research, and he was still at the library there, getting quite old, and he had helped me a lot with that, along with Nick Pollard. So I think there's the story, the history is there.
You wrote it. You're right. I read. You used to post it every year.
Yes, I did.
Time. I don't know if it was an article in a mandala that you had written in a mandala.
Yeah,
but it's there in the viral space. It's there in that space out there that has all the
It's still up there,
documents and
no?
so on.
Yeah.
It's somewhere there, yeah.
I'll have to put it down and see.
I,
But
I, I hope I hope you had also included that the British took some of the money and didn't give us all the money that
Oh,
we
yes.
They
were
Oh,
taxed
yes.
it, yeah, they taxed those
Yeah.
bloody British boy, I tell you.
Everything was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As Jeremy, stop it, Jeremy.
What?
Uh, stop it. Anyway, but
Stop that.
they we have to find out about that. And while we're on the topic of sports, and I want to touch upon something before we run out of time. Marion Jones Stadium. What a waste. Why is the traffic department and the fire department at Marion Jones, which is supposed to be a sporting complex? Why did they not build a track so we could have horse races, and so that the cycling races could finish in that track where people could then go in and pay some money and get to see some races, as opposed to endangering the cyclists and people on the road, on the street? It makes absolutely no sense to me. Why was not that some thought given? And they're saying no, they can't use the track that's there for anything because it's no good. So you spend a whole lot of money refurbishing this to specifications that cannot be used, can serve no purpose. Anybody got an idea what's going on there and why?
You know, we don't do useful planning in Belize. We don't think beyond the very moment that we're occupying the space of. We
As
need
an
to-
engineer, you might could help, Gregory. We need you to come up
all
home.
I could do is give them lights, man. I can't. The planning that type of stuff is outside of my area. I could light the field. I could give them the public address system. I could give them the computer connectivity, but that's the extent of where I go with that type of stuff.
Well, Spooner's father was an architect.
Was Spooner's Party what? Spooner's Party what?
No, I said your father was an architect.
Yes, but not. Well, my father did a bit of engineering, but he was an architect. Yeah, you had to know some engineering skills to design,
Yes.
to be design buildings. Yes.
Joe, who designed that stadium, Joe? And what was the
I am not sure who did the design, but prior
Mexico.
prior to the Marion Jones, we used to use it then, and we used to do very good at it. We used to have horse race and cycle race.
Yeah.
right?
And I was the president then, and I got them to put up floodlights. And then we began to have races in the night, and we used to have bus set up to bring people from different parts of the city and come to the stadium. And it used to be fun having races in the night.
Is that the old Rogers Stadium?
No,
No.
no.
Yeah, you had
Totally different.
Mr. Catus was then president for the horse race, and I was president of cycling, and we combined it. So when the thing came out that they were going to take this all away and then they go to build Marion Jones, we tried to convince, at the time, I don't know who it was, but we tried to convince them to maybe have the cycle track upgraded, have the horse race track still, and then put inside the football field. But they decided that no, they want the cycling to move out from there. Well, they still have a thing there, but it's not really for cycling like it was.
But crazy. To answer your question, Gregory, Rogers Stadium was what was called Edwards Park.
Right.
Now, I've written about that, and you might have seen those two, Spooner, because Mr. Edwards, I grew up on Cemetery Road, right? And that was our base right there, Edwards Park. But Mr. Edwards was an old man that used to be the, what do you call it, the caretaker.
Yeah.
He was the caretaker for the park, and he built that park one wheelbarrow of sand at a time. He used to go up to Lord Ridge, fill it with sand, and come down and fill up that park. Now Lord's Ridge now, and a lot of people don't know this, that Lord Ridge was not a lord, but it was a man named Mr. Lord who had what was a ridge. And it's from that ridge that he used to dig the sand to go down. And I think that to name that or any institution off of a politician is preposterous. Because first of all, any politician only represents half of the people. at any given time. So if you're going to name it off of a politician, then only of one political party, and every party that gets in names something or other after a politician. The UDP are famous for it. Michael Finnegan Market. Why? Why?
I guess you can't remember George Price Highway. Why?
Well, then we have Philip Wilson Highway. Why? Yes, I agree. Both of them. Both of them. So it makes absolutely no sense to me that you would do anything like that. We have heroes galore. How about some sport heroes? How about some of them older folks from time gone by? It should not be politicians, and I'll end it at that. You guys can jump on me all you want about that, but that's how I feel about that.
But I think the majority of what we have named in this city, which are what buildings and streets, and they are not politicians really, except you have Catoos Building, which was politician.
Well, just
You
think
had
about
Rogers Stadium, politician, and then you had the one for Esquivel. What is the name of that one? The BTL.
Yeah.
Esquivel Building, yes.
Esquivel Communication Center.
And that was about it.
Communication
But
Center.
most of which, then you got the Finnegan, I don't know what that become Finnegan Market.
Market. Yeah.
So I believe that anybody who distinguished themselves, if it is a janitor did something that distinguished us as a people, then you could give something named after him. We must revere the people who have contributed to this country.
That includes the politicians?
Anybody for that matter.
I can't think of a politician that has done much for this country. Can you?
I can't think of a citizen that has not done something for this country.
Okay, so then maybe we should name it after citizens and not politicians.
Well, a politician is a citizen.
I wonder sometime, don't you?
Well, I don't know. Unless we are bringing them from somewhere outside.
Why, sometimes it seems like that's where they're coming from. Because, well, anyway, as
Well,
a
I
farmer,
think we cannot ignore the truism, you know. We get the kind of government we are.
well, listen, I agree with you 100. And I used to always tell people when I was with the police department and speaking on their behalf, that if you want better police officers, you want better politicians, you want better people, we better start raising better children. And that is where it goes ultimately to the home. Are these parents giving these children guidance, or just letting them wander wild and find out for themselves what life is about? It is.
I personally have no problem buildings or road being named after credible, good people. The thing is, what I don't like is when you're erasing the past by naming buildings or streets that we have all grown up with new names and so on. I don't believe in that.
Regent Street is a good one.
Yeah.
Regent Street, it's been there time immemorial, and we argue, and you can't get me for call that. What now?
Dame
Minita Garden Street.
Yeah, you know what's so funny? The irony about that was renamed to her name because they wanted to erase the colonial ties, Regent Street, to England. But the fact of the matter is, she was the Governor General, which represented the monarchy in England. So
more ironic than that is that lady died basically homeless.
Oh, really? Are you serious? Yeah.
With no attention being given to her. It was a shame. In her later years, she got no respect. She had lost her mind, actually. She was wandering around in a bad state. Nobody thought about let's honor this lady by preserving her dignity and putting her in a place where she can be taken care of.
Her family had to come and rescue her, the family that reside in the United States.
It was ridiculous. And now you want to name a street after her, right? Talk about telling a person they're good after they dead. We had all the time in the world to do that when she was alive.
Okay.
But coming back to a statement you made, Mr. Chairman, about trying to shape the child from the cradle. And I think it makes good sense. But recently I was listening to even the Prime Minister sort of suggesting that we could learn something from Jamaica as to how they dealt with the gangs. And then I listened to some give credit to what is his name, Bokele, for what he did in Ecuador, I mean, or in
El Salvador.
El Salvador. And then I listened to the Queen when she visited Belize. There was somehow I got hold of a speech that she gave when she spoke to the Parliament. It was under the Esquivel regime.
Yes.
And she said something in that speech which resonated and should resonate with us. He said you cannot fight crime with the kind of system that you all believe we should. He said crime cannot be fought that way. He said crime must be fought from the cradle. And that made good sense to me. Now, we were talking about leadership just now, and we were talking as who to revere. I believe that the people who we should want to revere is not so much this generation with their masters and their PhDs and their bachelors. And I'm not, please, understand me. I'm not trying to belittle the value of it. But you know, a Surgeon General told me something the other day. He said, you know what we are getting from the US? He said, we are getting rejects. And I asked her why. He said, look at what we have today in terms of with bachelors and with masters. He said, name me any one of them that have distinguished themselves. He said, more than that generation that brought us to independence who were just primary school graduates. And we sat down. We decided to have a sitting down because I was having a coffee at a place. And you know what came out of that conversation indeed? That at the end of the day, it's about the spiritual dimension of the human person. And I noticed that today, we don't give reverence to the people who have made a difference in this country. But during that period, leading up to this independence, there was a lot of great people, women and men.
Yeah, I will say that the people of the past made a lot with the little they have in terms of education. They were the foundation, and they laid a great foundation for Belize. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that what you're getting from the United States in terms of people with education and skills are rejects. I think you're getting dedicated Belizeans that have seen a need and the necessity to return home and to contribute. And I think that they're giving their best, and I think they're well qualified, and they could be successful wherever they are, even if they're not in Belize. That is my true belief on that position.
I don't believe that they are rejects either. I was quoting what the person said. But what I do believe is that if you get the education, meaning the simple academic education, and you get your master's and your PhD, you're of no value to our society unless you have a sense of humanity about you. And what I am sensing today, and it's not because they went to university, what I'm sensing today, it's difficult to find professionals who are honest. Accountants, engineers, doctors, lawyers.
There's another part of that, though, because I don't know where education went wrong, but in our day, you're talking about primary school graduates that excelled. When we came out of primary school in my time, everybody could read and write and do basic math. Now you deal with, and I don't know if they don't keep pushing people through, and many times when they even to a degree, they just pay for the college and they're able to graduate. The level of education is nowhere near what it used to be, and I don't know whose fault it is. Is it the teacher's fault? Is it the home start, that the head start that they're not getting at home? I am baffled. You might go help with that.
Well, I can give you my suggestion on it because it was something that I had close to me. And that same conversation I was having, because this person is in charge of the faculty of medicine, trying to develop the one in Belize. Now, what I can say and this is something that we did agree on. How can you just have a university and you don't know what purpose it will serve? So, what we were saying is that the country should have a plan. Let's call it a 25-year plan. The country must know where it wants to go. Then the university is to produce the human resource that the country needs. It's about what we have been producing in Belize is what we were taught by the British that give us prestige. So this one wants to be a doctor because a doctor makes money. You want to be a lawyer because a lawyer makes money and prestigious. It's about what the country needs is a plan to say where we want to go, and then the universities in the research and development must then create the kind of human resource, the human capital.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense. Taiwan did it, Singapore did it, the Asia countries did it. That's what they did.
One child was asked what they want to be, and he wanted to be a custom officer, no?
Yeah.
That I found was
they
funny.
make the most money in our society.
I think that when he was saying rejects, I think we're putting it in the context that you go over there and you get a PhD, but what you want to do with that PhD? Why did you do a PhD for what? What you want to do with it?
I think you're correct. We talk about it a little bit. What the degrees that are being offered today is directly related to transactional. How much money I can make? How much can I do for myself? What is this going to cost me? It has very little today to do with the betterment of the country and the individual as a person. And that's where I think education is failing today versus when education in the past was for self enrichment and also for the betterment of the community and the society as a whole. Today we're more focused on can I get a degree and where will that put me? How will it make me in charge? How will it get me more money?
What's in it for me?
Yes, that's where we are.
What's in it for me? That's the overall sentiment. Yeah. I don't know. Is it just a selfish way? I mean, is it that everybody now is just concerned about self and not about the community or the country or the world and a whole? As long as I'm okay. And this one girl was saying, and she's a Trumpster, Big Marga, and she was saying that the reason why she supports Trump is because she now can take home a little more money in her paycheck than she did before.
Yeah.
And I was surprised because I mean she was not bashful about that at all. Sincere in that
they have no understanding of what the value of these things are. I think I see that most evidently in law degree and people that are practicing laws, and particularly I believe why we have the problem we have in Belize in our culture and in our National Assembly is because we are predominantly having more and more lawyers in our legislature. And if we look at the concept of training that lawyers go through versus a doctor or a business person or an engineer, it is quite different.
No ethics.
Well, I was going to say the return is expected to be immediate. Go to court and win a case. And therefore, the result they're trying to achieve is immediate. There's no long-term planning in terms of projecting and trying to find solutions for problems more than the immediate. And that, I think, is the thinking that lawyers bring to the legislator that is harming Belize, and they represent such a predominant majority of our legislators.
Yeah, they worry about winning a case and nothing else.
Exactly.
Even if that person is guilty, that plays no role. I was talking to one of them about justice, and I said justice no matter now whether you could present a case, because you don't have to. Whether it's not about whether you're guilty or not. It's about whether you can prove that I am guilty. And there's so many loopholes that I can jump through. So many steps towards that conviction that at any point you get an offer and you're free to go. It's great. Like look at this lawyer now. I got a null prosecute because of what? I don't even think that they explained it. This guy Elrington, who was charged for rape. No case to
Well,
answer.
well, from what I know of the case, it didn't seem that there should have been a case. But the way it ended is very unsatisfactory after all that hoopla of there should have been, of all the processes we went through to get to that point, and
But
then
a tricky thing, because why should not have been a case? Because the lady made a report, and it's a hard thing to prove. Because
that were,
if they test her and prove that she was cardinally known, can they test
were
and know if that cardinal was lately, and if it was as a result of a forced move?
right, right, right. So
So
it
it
was
kind
gonna
of a
be
tricky thing.
it was gonna be him against her, right? And then
Right,
that's when
right,
you
right.
sort of believe it. That's just my
Well, now
comment
that,
on it.
yeah, but now that you mention it, I had a conversation with somebody over the same case. So it's not that I have any particular interest in the gentleman because we had our differences in the past. But in fairness, there is a presumption that we are innocent until proven guilty. Is that what we're saying? So there,
Except in rape charges. In rape cases, you're guilty till you could prove that you're innocent.
okay, but the presumption I think is very important. That
Yes.
presumption. So if you are charged for a rape, then you are not a rapist. You are just charged. But in Belize, we begin to say you are a rapist, and we
Well,
begin to condemn you.
at the
I,
end of
I am
the
saying that
day,
I am saying that you went to the court, and I trust that the court gave you justice. But if you feel aggrieved by the decision and you can afford it, you can go to the next stage.
the due process that gets you off eventually.
No, not necessarily will get you off.
It always does, though. In particular cases are like individuals like that.
No,
When has one of those people gone to jail? When has a politician gone to jail?
yeah, but that's not the issue. The
When
issue
has a rich man gone to jail?
no, but that's not the issue.
That is the issue. Because
No,
it don't matter. It don't matter whether you did it or not, Joe.
no. I don't buy that kind of thinking. Like,
So you don't think about whether you did it or not.
no, no,
It's
no, no.
about whether you can prove
No,
it.
no. To say that if a rich man, you don't know of a rich man that went to jail.
Correct.
Good.
Because
Now,
you can afford a lawyer.
no, that's the point.
Right.
And that's why they are saying that when the state wrongs the citizen, which is a part of the nation, that is tantamount to lawlessness when the citizen cannot access the system to get justice. So, if a wrong is done to you, but you cannot access the court system, that is when it becomes questionable of whether it is justice. That is why in most countries, in many countries, I would say most, they make sure that you will be having a right to defense. So if you say a rich man didn't go to jail simply because he's rich, no, it's not because he's rich. Maybe
It's
because
because you could afford a lawyer.
yes. So that's
Is that the same thing? And you split hairs, man. You're splitting hairs there.
They can afford a lawyer and they can subvert justice.
Yeah. What I gathered that the case fell apart because the prosecution was.
I don't go down. I don't go down that road there with that one. Let's go with that one.
Go ahead, Jeremy. What you say?
I was just saying that the case seemed to have fallen apart when the prosecution was calling for a closed court session and the defense lawyer was calling for an open session.
And they couldn't decide which one, and so they called out
And
the
I
case.
believe, yes, and I believed what
That's
I had
relaxed.
heard also was that the people who were bringing the case, the two witnesses, they pulled out, and that's why
Because they didn't want to testify openly.
That's right, yeah.
Uh,
But it all sounded strange to me from the very beginning. You are at a bar and you're socializing, and apparently these young ladies had men in their lives, but yet they went to this lawyer's house to party afterwards, and then it's you say, I say, what gone on, So
of
I don't know
course,
how
now,
you prove, huh?
well, there's a lot of questions there, though, because I've had women come to my house and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why we want to try the case. I thought that if you had listened to the case, and anyway you did and you read it, I'd like to hear now whether you agree with the judgment or not, and if you don't agree, why.
Well,
But
he
I don't
got
want
thrown
to.
out.
I don't want to be speculating.
There was no judgment. There was no judgment.
No.
He was thrown out. They didn't get there.
What we're speaking of is what is in the record. I don't think we're saying anything that
We're not trying the
or anything
case.
that's in the public discourse right now about it. I don't hear anything new that we're not
Let me
making up anything.
The case was not hard because there was not the kind of evidence for the case to
That's
proceed.
not true. That's not true.
Well, they use the word nolle prosecute, right?
Right, right.
You cannot proceed.
Right.
Why was it that they could not proceed?
Because they could not decide whether they would have an open hearing or a closed hearing.
No,
Which
they
is,
decided that the people that were the victims did not want to. Did not want to.
so they decided, and as a result of that, the people did not want to stand in open because they felt they'd be in danger.
There'll be some public.
Is there something in there that should safeguard their interests? They do have a legitimate point, don't you think?
Well, they do that for children, for young people, but for adults, I think they should be exposed to answer in the public forum what.
Well, you have a judge and a jury. Isn't that what they're there for?
Yeah,
but they're also saying because of this open court case, a lot of women don't want to come forward. They do not want to have their personal life brought out into the public like that. So it discourages rape victims from.
But that hides a lot of the potential thing. If somebody's accusing me of something, I want them to come in the public and to
that shouldn't be a case by case situation where, depending on the case, we look at the particulars first and decide whether.
Yeah, that's why I said if the person is somehow could be harmed by it in terms of not having the right faculty to defend themselves, children, people that are not fully stable, that kind of stuff, I could understand some leverage in making that type of decision. But if they are fully capable individuals,
Can I ask a question? I didn't hear the case. That's what I'm asking. There was one party that wanted to have an open case. That's what you call it. And
that was the defense.
No. The prosecutor, the people prosecuting the case, not the people prosecuting the case, the lawyers for the persons that were the victims.
The defense.
They wanted to have a closed case. The defense.
Right.
And the people fighting against the case for Mr. Arrington wanted a public, open case. That was what was happening.
Right.
No. Okay. No. It was the judge that made the decision, right? Whether he would have which one. The judge made the decision. And the judge went in favor of what?
It didn't go that far. They
withdrew.
The DPP threw the case away before it got to that point.
Because the judge never had to make a decision.
That's
the prosecutor, the DPP withdrew the case.
Yeah.
Because
it didn't go in her favor.
No, because the individuals didn't want to have a public case. The individuals that were making the accusation did not want to have an open case.
So on the basis of that, the prosecutor decided to withdraw the case.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to try the case, right? Like you say. All right, one more thing before we close out. Santander. I was hearing on the radio this morning that they made history by being the first sugar processing plant in the Caribbean. They have opened the first and that blew my mind, if that is true. Because I know that they're major sugar producers in Trinidad and other islands, but they're saying that Santander has launched the first sugar processing plant in the country. Now, let me put some context to this. I went to brown sugar is hard to get in Belize. I don't know why, but over a year, it's terrible. You're not getting none at Publix, which is one of the major supermarkets. But last week, I went to a Chinese store and asked if they have any brown sugar. And the guy brought out a pack, neatly packaged. And I said, well, if we send out the brown sugar and they just package it and send it back, better than we just buy the packaging from them. Lo and behold, it said Belize sugar on the front of it, and it was nicely packaged and whatnot. And I'm wondering if this is not a part of that. But here's the thing with that is Santander is a Guatemalan company. And there was a lot of controversy about the money that they were borrowing from Social Security to launch that company. You guys have any memory of that was going on, and any thoughts along that line?
I remember the fact that they were trying to get the loan and some people were opposing it. But I believe that if it's a Belizean company industry, then they should have access to the loans that's and the money that Social Security have. They're sitting on millions of dollars that they need to have a return on, so that the people in the later years when this fund is needed, the money is there in substantial way and with interest, that they can carry out whatever their responsibility is to the
Well, aren't there particulars that need to be considered? For instance, we have cane farmers up north. We have producers that we have a cane mill up north, and this was a direct competition with the existing local cane farmers. Would that then have played a role? And now that they have come forward with this huge infrastructure and investment, the question can be asked then: what were the ones up north doing? That all these while every year there's an issue. Every year cane farmers got some. This might be the first year I remember when there's not a big controversy before the beginning of that cane season. And they spend more time fighting one another.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, was it? I thought you said that Santander is making a claim that they are the first in the region
Yes,
to have a processing plant.
yes.
Well, that might be so. Is it so?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't remember BSI or when they have a processing plant.
No, 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 not in the country. In the Caribbean, actually. Do you remember Trinidad having a processing plant?
I
Which
don't.
which other island was a major cane producer?
I don't think they had any processing plant. I think what they were doing the same thing with Belize. We were just bleaching brown sugar. We weren't processing it into white sugar.
Okay, so now that they have it, and it is a Guatemalan run company, a whole Guatemala initiative, are we now ready to look at this matter in a different light as to maybe we should live as neighbors and do our best to develop a friendship with these people?
I don't know if they are majority owned Guatemalans. We want investors in the country. Is that what we're looking for?
Well, so you're going again with that same thing we were talking about earlier as just what's in it for me. Can we make some money off of it? Is that the most important thing, or what good it does for the country in the long run?
Well, I'm saying I see it differently. I thought that if we wanted to have friends, say with Guatemala,
Right.
and we have Guatemalan investment in this country, just like how would I like to maybe have American investment or Jamaican investment or Trinidad investment in the country.
Right.
I don't see anything
But
wrong.
we don't have a dispute with those countries. And I'm saying to you, then, is it not maybe time we go? And no, but here's the question, though. Where's the question?
It's because of the
But
dispute.
why won't you let me ask the question? Let me just ask the question. Is it time we move on from this silly calling Guatemala an enemy and just looking at them as an enemy and no one got nothing to do with them? Because that's the
Well,
sentiment.
I thought that we had moved on long ago. That's why I don't know why.
Have you been listening to the media and the news stations?
I was not only listening to them, I was involved in trying to get them to do investment in Belize. Because that's what we thought. We thought that if we have Guatemalans, investors, business people coming to Belize and invest and participate, before we even went to the Caribbean, I mean to the International Court of Justice, we thought it was a good strategy. And
Did
that's
you
someone into-
did you hear that, Gregory? Did you hear that was happening? Were you aware of that?
Well, I know Guatemalans have always had some investment in Belize. They had a bottling company at one time. They had other major investment in some hotels and some other
paper
places.
factory, they have paper factory.
Yeah, I am a little concerned though about the Maya thing that they're planning with Mexico and Guatemala at this point with Belize, with the three country setting up infrastructure for tourism. And the reason I'm concerned about that is because I believe Belize need to get in order its security system both for trafficking and drugs, so that we don't get overpowered and become a transit point more than it is right now with those type of infrastructure that they're talking about putting in place.
Do you think that would facilitate the movement of drugs?
Drugs and people.
Interesting.
Definitely.
All right. Listen, it's 9 o'clock, guys. We're out of time. It's been interesting. So much happening. We have to keep having these discussions. Hope to see you guys next week, same time. Did we miss anything? And any final comments from anybody? Did anybody? We don't want to leave nobody leaving aggrieved. Jeremy, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. You gave me something to, just looking up Santander there to find out, get more information about them. A little bit not that well educated on that company.
Interesting. And I'm one who have been shouting at the top of my lungs for a long time. We need to move past this. There are 18 million people. We are less than 500,000. We cannot consider them an enemy. We cannot expect that the US or England is going to fight for us. They won't. They are Israel's biggest ally, and in this part of the world, they continually vote in favor of that. And those two countries that we're expecting to defend us are supplying weapons to them and support to them over there. We have to be very careful as we move forward with this. Let us proceed as good friends. Good night, everybody. Hi, Deidre. Finally
Deidre.
checking in. Yeah, was that what I said?
Yes.
Yeah, Deidre. Yeah. Hi, guys. Listen, we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Thank you. Thanks for listening. See why we're done here.
All right.
All right. We got Belize and American Park Fest. This to come up when? I mean, not gonna see no date on this. Oh yes, wait, no. Anybody see a date? We know we got
Too small.
Edwin Yearwood. Anyway, 9th of March, we'll be in Doublehead Cabbage on Saturday. And I think that's the stop there. And the Spooner, you really look funny with that, man. Look like one of the spy, you know there.
I can't read it. Try.
Yeah, we ended up boom on Sunday. I think that's the last stop, and then of course Monday to Belize City, right? Guys, respect every time. I'm out
Good
here.
night, everybody.
Yeah, man.
Good night. Good night.
See why not asleep? Because of the put up thing. Yes. Right.
Ride as we flow. Jim out the jewel. I'll have your trainer throwing in the towel. Lineage, Masonic, without the trowel. I'm highly decorated like the Joint Chief of Staff. Oh well. Jim out the jewel. I'll have your trainer throwing in the towel. Lineage, Masonic, without the trowel. I'm highly decorated like the Joint Chief of Staff. Oh well. Don't get caught up in the distraction. It's just an fraction of the extended destruction. Like Brunson at the Garden. Temporary reprieve from your problems. Mental colonization. You know, they shiesty when they weaponize religion. War infraction. Nations against nations. The Jews against the Palestinians. Russians against the Ukrainians. China, Japan, India, Pakistan, Dominicans, Asians, Guatemaltecans, Belizeans. The elite is all about wealth distribution, world domination. I'm bringing bars with heat like beats from honor domination. Final conclusion, nuclear intervention. While in the hood, guns and sirens still blazing. Mothers in agony, screaming. YNs seeking instant gratification like Kelly streaming. Gem out the jewel. I'll have your trainer throwing in the towel. Lineage, Masonic, without the trowel. I'm highly decorated like the Joint Chief of Staff. Oh well. Gem out the jewel. I'll have your trainer throwing in the towel. Lineage, Masonic, without the trowel. I'm highly decorated like the joint chief of staff. Oh well. Paris, topics of the day. Imports, exports, ships idle on the dock of the bay. Monopoly, Wall Street, financial experts. But the consumers is the one that has to pay. Systematic design to keep us behind, like they don't know we're the ones behind. The fashion, the music, the culture, where their offsprings come to nurture, like Earth, Mother. But our journey be easier with the involvement of the Father. New World Order. Imagine coming to America and be trapped inside the border with fake friends that's like 4 quarters. They would change for $1. The rapture, brother against brother, rather side with the other. The scripture, the Bible, Cain and Abel, Judas was at the table. When I pass the graveyard, I don't whistle, cause like most genius, I'm unstable. You existing in the zoo, I'm thriving in the jungle. Plus I just look like this, I'm deceptively efficient. My mental poison be potent. Keep that mumble rap, you incoherent. The university is on tilt. I'm building generational wealth. Pelts at the Met. If I was a swimmer, I'd be like the world record holder. Phelps. Yeah.